Well, it sounds like a kind of a daunting task to cook from scratch, but the rewards, well, they can be well worth it. I'm in the kitchen this morning with Chef Christopher Gross, and we are making a walnut tart with fresh cream. And this does sound like it might be a lot of work, but as we mentioned, it was really going to be worth it when we go to sit down and eat it.
It's actually pretty easy.
Is it really?
So we're going to do it in 3 steps today. But the first thing we're going to start, because it takes the longest, is we're going to make the caramel sauce.
Okay.
And that's the base of our tart filling. I got some water already going.
Water.
And then sugar. And we're making a caramel right now. And one thing when you make a caramel, just sugar and water, we don't want to stir it too much. We just want to get the sugar dissolved. Mm-hmm. And we don't want to get it all along the sides here or anything, because as it heats up really hot, it starts to burn and it'll make it bitter.
Okay.
And also excess stirring will also make it crystallize. So we're going to let that turn to a caramel. Big pot too, because it's very, very hot. And when we throw the other ingredients in it, we don't want it to foam over or anything.
Okay, okay.
Always be careful when making caramel. It's very, very hot. So that's cooking. And we're going to go to our dough right now. And I got some soft butter.
Okay.
And it's a sugar dough. It's pretty easy to work with, and you can use it for quite a few other things, like little tart shells, berry tarts, and stuff like that.
Well, let's get a tight shot of some of these ingredients real quickly so we can kind of see what we're working with.
Butter, sugar, flour, and I'm not on.
When with the butter, sugar, and the flour, we are going to just kind of blend that all in. Is that correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So you have the sugar, butter, flour, eggs. Mm-hmm. And you can use a mixer. And I'm just mixing this by hand. Throw the flour in.
Mm-hmm. And we're just really being light with our fingers just to kind of blend that in as best we can, right?
And because of the amount of butter, it's going to be quite a firm dough.
Okay.
So once we get that all mixed, you can just throw it in the refrigerator and let it sit for 30 minutes.
Okay. And so that 30 minutes is really going to make things just a little bit, just a little bit tighter?
Yes.
Okay.
And
kind of not tighter. What's the right word for that?
Well, the dough needs to relax. Relax a little bit.
Congeal, I guess.
And congeal and get cold again, because otherwise it's a little too wet. So here's some dough that has been out just for a little while, and if you touch it, you can feel it's kind of quite firm.
Yeah, like cookie dough almost. Same consistency, maybe even a little bit firmer.
And then we roll it out. Now here's something I forgot to do. I forgot to bring a tart shell.
Oh, okay.
So no problem. You can either take the upside down pan and fold it over there and bake it in, or I'm going to take and just crimp the dough like this.
I'm glad that you're teaching us, because not everybody has a tart shell, so this is the way that we can kind of approach that without necessarily.
Or if you have just some pot or something, turn the pot upside down, put the dough over it, maybe put a little non-stick spray. So, but here I just roll up the dough and we're just pinching it, and we're making our own shell.
Now back to our caramel sauce. Are we looking for it to start doing this kind of rolling, this
absolutely.
boiling?
And we want it to be nice and brown. I always use like a spoon to put in, because once it starts to brown, you need to look at it and see if it's brown enough. You don't want it to get too dark, but you don't want it too light.
So it's not going to look brown in the pot, it's going to look brown on our...
Well, it'll look brown in the pot, but sometimes it's hard to see.
Okay.
So I always take a spoon in and then take a look at it. Now this is going to take just a few more minutes. Once that's done, we're going to finish the tart mixture and by adding butter and cream and walnuts to it.
All right.
And that's super simple. And then we're going to throw this in after I finish this. Or actually, I got one already made, but we'll just bake this in the oven until golden brown.
About how long should that be?
About 15 or so minutes, around 350. And you see I put some holes in it here so it doesn't bubble up.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to let you continue on that caramel sauce, because that's very important.
That's
very
the most important thing.
And then we're going to fill it and continue on with the process in just a little bit.